Good evening, I'm Faye Barker. 3 people have died in separate stabbings in East London, all of which were carried out within 8 hours of each other. The first took place at around 4 p.m. on Friday afternoon on Mark House Road in Walthamstow. A 16-year-old boy died after he was attacked while making his way home from school. Police say they are working hard to track down those who were responsible to bring justice to the family and his victim. In Hackney, a man in his 20s was killed on Mare Street at around 11 p.m. later that evening. 2 men have since been arrested. And 40 minutes later, an 18-year-old lost his life outside Dagenham Heathway tube station. It was during a fight between 2 groups who were carrying machetes. Officers say a 20-year-old has been arrested. Next, Westminster Council says it is deeply concerned after a group of its Night Stars volunteers who assist the vulnerable on the streets late at night were arrested by police in the early hours of Saturday morning. It comes as the force faces a backlash to the number of arrests it made during the King's coronation yesterday, many of whom were anti-royal and climate protesters. With the latest, here's Jay Akbar.
Riz Chowdhury has felt steel on his wrists before. As an Extinction Rebellion activist, he is, as they say, known to police.
I was racially targeted last night and arrested by the police.
Except when he and 2 others were arrested in the early hours of Saturday, they'd been volunteering for Night Stars, a charity partnered with the Met. Its volunteers promote women's safety on the streets of London. Their duties include handing out slippers, water and rape alarms.
And that last detail there is why the Met said it arrested those 3 people, including Riz, somewhere in this area, because it said it received intel that groups of individuals were seeking to use rape alarms to try and disrupt the coronation later that day.
The Met added there was particular concern this would scare their horses involved in the procession and cause significant risk to the safety of the public and the riders. On his release, Riz spoke to journalist Wright, who told me the arrest sets a dangerous precedent.
They weren't involved in an action, so this was all preemptive action by the police.
And on Riz's affiliation with Extinction Rebellion.
XR is not a banned group, right? And he was not there in his auspices at XR. The police and Westminster Council have given, he has a jacket given to him by them with the Metropolitan Police logo on it. So if you believe that, then take it up with the police.
More than 50 people from various groups were arrested during anti-monarchy protests on Coronation Day. The Culture Secretary argues the police got the balance right, but one Just Stop Oil protester arrested in Parliament Square says that simply isn't the case.
I had not shouted any slogans, I had not lifted up a banner, I had not even displayed my T-shirt, and yet I was arrested preemptively. The only reason I was there was to try and raise concern about the climate crisis.
Night Stars said they were deeply concerned their volunteers were arrested while helping the most vulnerable on the streets, and they're now working with the Met to figure out exactly what happened. Jay Akbar, ITV News.
Street parties have been taking place right across the capital as the King's coronation celebrations continue. In Gloucester Road, people enjoyed the occasion with a spot of lunch, music and activities ahead of the coronation concert, which is taking place at Windsor Castle this evening. Well, those attending said the bank holiday has certainly been one to remember.
We ought to do more of this, and we're going to try and improve this centre and make it a much more friendly place for people. But today this is brilliant because it's bringing everybody together.
How, have you ever seen the street like this before?
Never. It's absolutely first time, and the atmosphere is really amazing,
Now, plenty happening on the pitch this weekend. Let's get the details now in the sport.
Zero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
In the Premier League, Arsenal have cut the gap to leaders Man City to 1 point after winning their match against Newcastle. Martin Odegaard put the Gunners ahead in the first half after Newcastle hit the post and had a penalty decision overturned. Then an own goal from Newcastle's Fabian Schär meant Arsenal won 2-0. In the women's game, Tottenham lost 3-0 away to Manchester United, and it was a loss for West Ham too, who were beaten 1-0 by Brighton. Chelsea, meanwhile, have just started their match against Everton. Weather now, here's James.
Feels like home, whatever the weather. Valent Boilers and Heat Pumps sponsors ITV London Weekend Weather.
Hello there, good evening. After a bit of a soaker yesterday, there's more wet weather to come for tomorrow, I'm afraid. The bank holiday set to be wet with a bit of a complicated bunch of fronts heading across us. Could see 2 or 3 bands of rain by the time we get to the end of the day. And as we head through Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, set to be a case of sunny spells and showers. As far as tonight goes, wasn't a bad day today, some nice sunshine to end the day on, and then as we head towards the end of the night, we just start to see a little bit of cloud building. Might see 1 or 2 mist patches developing out of town, and it is going to be pretty mild overnight with lows of 9 to 12 Celsius. If there's any brightness around tomorrow morning, it's not going to last too long, I'm afraid. The cloud will build and eventually the rain will arrive. The first front starting to peter out a little bit as it crosses us. Maybe a bit of a gap mid-afternoon, a bit more rain to come later on in the day, and a third area of wet weather for the evening. Temperatures down on today, highs of 14 to 17 Celsius, and then once all that rain clears, brighter, breezy on Tuesday, 1 or 2 showers, and a similar picture on Wednesday and Thursday too.
Valent sponsors ITV London Weekend Weather.
That's it for now. We're back tomorrow in Good Morning Britain. Until then, bye-bye.